Okay. Yeah. Uh, Once again, good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in this world. Welcome to this session of Simple Logistics. I'm Abai. So today we will try to understand a little bit of basics in this demo to understand where we are heading towards the technology, where we are heading towards the product, what is S4HANA, and then what are the sub modules, how cross logistics works, what do you mean by user experience, and all this stuff. So these would be the topics which we'll discuss today. Now we have seen that ECC has been in the market for so long, and mean to say that at least for the past 10 years since 2005 or 4 and ECC 6 is in the market. So that we need some kind of a change. We are well versed with ECC 6 and its features and functions and facilities or functionalities which was provided by ECC. We are majority of them based on their individual areas. Everybody know what is that that it gives you for a customer. But in 2010, exactly, SAP has started to think in a different direction that whatever solutions that we have are more resource incentive. It takes a lot of data. For example, we copy the data into multiple tables or indices tables or whatever it is for a better reporting purposes. So that was the whole idea initially, that why we are doing this. Then they started slowly the database first, and then once they started the database, they slowly moved the BW on that database, HANA database. Now the BW was working on HANA, so it was giving performing good, it was doing pretty well. So then they slowly thought through that, why can't we move the entire suite of applications of ECC on HANA? So everybody who are using any applications across the board, it can be SCM, APO, ERP or whatever. So that will be moved on to the HANA platform, and that platform we used to call it as Suite on HANA, okay, or Business Suite on HANA, which has all the products. Now it is pretty much like the new bottle and old wine. So now we are just pushing out. So why can't we build up the entire solutions into the entire applications into a new models of where we can rechange or redesign the perspective of the data storage, perspective of the the how the data is retrieved. So earlier there might be hundreds of restrictions which we are talking about. For example, it can be database, it can be hardware, and so forth and so on. Since it has been evolved a lot, you have now everything is a stored at RAMs because of the HANA platform, a lot of processes and all this stuff. So they started as usual, because the finance is a key core concept of entire any ERP application. So they started that to modify the simple finance piece in the HANA system. So we call it as Simple Finance by HANA. And then slowly, one and a half year ago, where they passed a journey of 1.5 years of various two versions of Simple Finance, then they came up with SAP S4 HANA. So SAP S4 HANA is like a new code line. Please remember, this is a new code line. It means it has its own code line. It's a separate product as such. So this code line has its own tweaks of programs, and then making it more performance oriented, so forth and so on. So this new code line product, we call it as S4 HANA, which was released somewhere in 2015 end. What is the benefit if I go on to the S4 HANA? Is it do we invest a lot on this? Yes, you might need to invest on the hardware and then licensing, so forth and so on. But that's not our part, because somebody will customers will definitely look on IT initiative to move on to this. At the same time, when you see the SAP S4 HANA, so this HANA platform can be deployed both on a cloud as well as on-premise. So this is like a kind of an environment where you can run both cloud and on-premise, or a mixture of on-premise as well as a cloud. And the major thing is the connectivity with the things like Internet of Things, or business networks, or social networks on the S4HANA. The business networks, probably you can understand, like Ariba, or you can see any kind of a procurement site like the Alibaba and so forth and so on. And Internet of Things, for example, a better example is Uber. Uber is one of the best example of Internet of Things, where you keep using your things as much as you can. Then more about social networks, publishing the data content into the social networks. This can be integrated with SAP S/4HANA. Along with the people, which is called a success factors, whatever we call it as, integration of the people's devices, mobile devices, different OSs, and can manage the data in a different way. That is a big data. But all in whole, what we can see is that the whole, for a perspective of a ECC user, let's assume an ECC user perspective, what if I want to learn S/4HANA? What is the changes? Why should I learn S/4HANA? What is implications of it? Sooner than later, people will move on to SAP S/4HANA. Definitely, they maybe on a 1 year's time, 2 years time, they don't have a choice. They have to move on it. If the product support has ended of the older version, definitely they will move on to the SAP S/4HANA. But it's a matter of time when and what will happen. So the best for us is the user experience. The user experience is very, very important in terms of SAP S/4HANA, because that is a prime change in the entire product, which can run across the solutions. We'll come back to that user experience over a period of time. And all other native applications like Ariba, Concur, Fieldglass, Hybris, SuccessFactors will not have a native database as HANA, but it will be on a different database of their own, but it will be seamlessly integrated with S/4HANA. So these are very on various scenarios this will run on its own, but it will be integrated with S/4HANA on very in a close nutshell. So this is one of the important things that you need to understand, where the direction SAP S/4HANA is going on. If you see the features of this, we call it as S/4HANA Enterprise Management. So like in memory is a HANA benefit, new architecture, new data models. Data models are nothing but how the data stores. Renewed applications. Renewed applications means what are the applications that you are using, anything, a settlement or something like that has been renewed a lot. UI is nothing but a Fiori, cloud deployments, and native integration. So this would be in a nutshell all the features of SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so the same thing, it's represented in a different format, but more or less things, whatever we have understood or heard about in the last slide is more or less here. So it's more like what you want as a software, now it is getting it. Earlier we have a lot of ifs and buts, but it is giving a full-fledged thing to which can integrate to a next level of the IT sectors. Now this slide does specifically mentioned over here is that SAP S/4HANA is a new product line. It is not a legal successor of any SAP Business Suite product. So please keep that in your mind. That's the reason this slide has been kept out here. The classic SAP Business Suite and SAP ERP is a separate product line and will still be available for customer usage. So the reason is, you need to differentiate the products, because somebody asked me a lot of questions in between. I mean, to say initially that what is the direction of it? The direction is this. Okay, we have a classic ERP, you can run as it is till the time it is supported. Business Suite on HANA is a new suite on HANA. It's a different product which can be run separately, and S/4HANA is a new product line. How do we reach to S/4HANA is another topic. We will see that in the next coming slides. Now, what is the change that makes us more, showing focus on the product? So what is that? So it's the S/4HANA will give a lot of flexibility in things like a decision making. Ultimately everything boils down to a decision making. See, the meaning of decision making is very important, because in today's environment, if you have an ECC and a BW system, let's take you're running something like any BW system where your sales data goes into BW in the overnight, and then the data is available for in the form of reports after 24 hours to 48 hours. So, and after that, the things takes you to dashboards, and it takes its own sweet time. So there, if you want to make any decisions in a kind of in an environment, the people Even though they take a decision, they are 3 days or 2 days delay. So in that fashion, what happens is that decision making is getting delayed. So that's the reason, if you have a system which is real time from both a transactional perspective as an analytical perspective, then the business decision makes pretty simple because the data is available immediately. So that's one of the main thing of benefits of S4HANA. And at the same time, the business processes which are there today. For example, if you run business processes from kind of batches or batch runs, now that batch runs has been eliminated a lot. So in majority of the places, batch runs has eliminated. So that makes your life more simpler because it can run on the fly, and the matching happens. Batches can be avoided on its specifically for the standard transactions like a GRIR clearing and all so forth and so on. At the same time, you have a different data models. The data models are all about talking about removing the indices, removing the aggregates, and redundancy of data to minimize the footprint of the entire, the model. But the aggregates will happen on the fly based on your query, whatever you requested from the system. That makes so that the data will not store under the form of aggregates, but it will fly off whenever you ask for the information. So that makes your life more simpler because you don't need to have a lot of data footprint. So if you see a couple of the marketing slides, we were talking about running an SAP S4HANA on an iPhone, which is even like a 9 GB or 12 GB is what data is required to run the product on a particular this thing. But that is yet to be visualized but this is the reality of it. Okay, so user experience will definitely talk. It is nothing but nothing other than the Fiori and all this stuff. Okay, and when we talk about modern architecture, somebody asking what is a HANA and all. HANA is a platform where it is built more to run the processes from on a RAM rather than on a on the processors or whatever it is. So that's the whole idea. That's the reason the data will be retrieved fast and presented fast. Okay, so that modern architecture will bring you a lot of benefits. As we discussed, it is very robust. It has a simple data structures. There is no replication of a data. You have a lot of speed on the primary queries because the data is storing at RAMs. Single source of truth. What do you mean by single source of truth? For example, you might have heard it many times. Let's assume you have material masters, and the material masters data stores across in ECC, in APO, or in supply chain, in BW, wherever it is, maybe in a different formats, or maybe in different how you manage your systems. So this if you have if you are retrieving the data of metal master from where it is originally created, and assume that it is an ECC system, so this data used across multiple systems, okay, not replicating that data, then we are calling it a single source of truth. It can be anything where you have created once and use the same across your systems or across your applications. That makes more sense. We call it a single source of truth. Similarly, a flexible consumption, non-disruptive journey, because it is seamlessly integrated. And when it comes to the new design like a Fiori is a different world altogether now for us. The whole idea of designing a Fiori is to go by role-based, not by transaction-based. You will see that going forward. And we will also have a lot of smart business cockpits, which gives more information about where are we and how do we progress with a lot of intuitive experience of user to provide a lot of information, and also a couple of simulations and predictions which can be applied. But predictions are not yet fully available on thing, but this is the direction where S4HANA will be moving forward. Okay, these all about the product of S4HANA, but the question comes on how do we deploy the the SAP S4HANA. So how do we deploy? The deployment is on-premise. You can use a traditional on-premise version to use it, or you can use certain applications and on-premise and certain applications are on cloud, which we call it as a hybrid model. Like for example, a CRM, I want to run it on a cloud, but the rest of ECC BW, so forth and so on, will be on the hybrid model. So that makes more sense of running the applications both on-premise as well as cloud. At the same time, a cloud, I want to run all the applications on the cloud with a, only, then it's a different cloud environment will be given. Again, there are a lot of options: public cloud, private cloud, platform as service, and software as a service. There are a lot of things are there. So this is more like a subscription licensing deployment as well in the cloud environment. So I would like to address few questions if you guys have anything before I move forward. I am just unmuting all of you. Yeah. Anybody has any questions? Hello.
Hi, this is Pradeep. You are talking about moving BW into cloud and or keeping it on premise. I thought the whole idea of S4HANA is to not have an OLAP environment. Why do some business needs BW anymore if they are implementing S4HANA?
No, I did tell that BW will be pushed to hybrid, right? So what I told is that some applications, for example, a CRM front-ending applications, I want to push on hybrid on top. Okay, and the rest of the environment will run on-premise. Definitely, the BW part layer is like a more or less is embedded with the ECC environment together into the ECC system itself. But that is not a full-fledged BW warehouse. If you want to run a full-fledged warehouse, it's still a different volume altogether. But some part of BW basic features are available on OLTP and OLAP together in S4HANA. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Please ask questions. I understand because you may have a lot of queries around this. What is this product? How we are moving forward? This is the platform where you can ask questions so that you will get clarified. And a lot of people also will be waiting for those questions, not for this demo, because people will come out with different backgrounds and different questions that supports everybody's understanding in at one time. Anyhow,
what is in-memory database?
The primary database will be HANA.
In-memory database.
No, in-memory database is nothing but the data will store in your RAMs and all the stuff within the system. We call it as in-memory database. It is like a virtual data which stores there till the time you switch off your system. The moment you switch off your system, the data goes off. Again, it will rebuild when you switch on the system or when you put a query on the system. So till the time the data will be there on your RAMs for your calculations for your output.
Thank you.
Abhay, how is this going to help for existing SAP functional consultants? Will there be a total phase shift, or is the existing experience going to?
Definitely, I mean that will be the same question which needs to be addressed for everyone on behalf of everyone. I'll do it at the end of the session. If I start that, then probably it will takes a lot of time. I'll definitely at administrative level, I'll definitely tell you what the role of a functional consultant all about.
Sure. Thank you.
Hi, Abhay. This is Srini. So you mentioned Material Master, currently storing at different locations. Once moves on HANA, so it will be at one location, like so ECC, BW or APO. So all these locations, no need to maintain at multiple locations. Everything will be on S4 HANA, right?
Yes.
So so in one table we will be seeing all the data.
See, in one table, master data table, you will see not in the sense of one table means hardly one table. It is whatever the logically built grouping. We will see that Material Masters the information from there. If for example you are doing an MRP or you are doing any the supply chain planning or something like that, you will not create your own set of information there. Rather, you go and pick up the information from here and present there. So that's the whole reason of source of a single source of truth. Okay. Similarly, for example,
So,
GL masters. Let's give a simple example.
mhm.
GL masters. Rather, you creating GL masters in ECC and BW and whatever the way you create it using a business content or whatever it is, or some other systems. We will take the information from this masters as single source and then represent it.
Mhm. So during creation itself, we will be keeping in mind that the other sources information also to be included during creation of this GL master or material master. Is that correct?
No, I mean, it's not a question of creation. Creation happens as normal. You need not worry about to keep the instances up and running. By default, when you have installed the system by default read from this source. That's what the design will happen. As a consultant, you need not to worry about how can I put this data into APO and how I'll get the metal master. By default, if you run any MRP or maybe any supply chain thing from APO, the system will automatically pick up the information from here, whichever is relevant.
Okay.
It will not store its own data sets.
Okay, this is a layer built on ECC. So it goes and retrieves the data from the sources where it was located.
Yeah, it's S4HANA, not in ECC, S4HANA.
Hi, Abhay, I'm Krishna Mohan. I have a question. Like you have told the in-memory database is the RAM. So are we completely going away with the main storage, that is the server storage, or is there going to be any backup kind of thing that will run on the server later?
No, we are
because
not.
RAM data will be refreshed, right?
That's what I'm saying. The data will not. They'll. I mean, the infrastructure wise, there will be still have the all servers and all will be there. Okay, but it will stores on kind of in memory to bring the data as fast as possible. Okay, but as a functional consultant, you need not to worry about the architecture or anybody in that matter. You need not to worry about that. What is the ingredients of hardware? We are not worrying about that. In memory means data stores at RAMs to retrieve the data faster. Application runs on RAM to make the result faster. Okay.
Okay.
As simple as that.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi Abhay, this is Sudeep.
Yeah, Sudeep.
I heard in S4HANA or in HANA itself, the material master length increases from 18 to 40 or 20 to 40, something like that. Is it right?
Yeah, you're right, but we will discuss that in a cross logistics module. Okay.
Okay. No, my question only was related to, so I mean, is this a migration challenge for us? I mean, from the existing environment into a bigger length.
Okay. I think you are 15 slides ahead of me. Kindly hold for another 15-20 minutes. We'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm just moving on. So the whole point started, I mean, I'm just again muting all of you so that people will not hear any disturbance. Okay. The whole point of S4HANA started, why can't we bring up applications to SFO? So that's where the Simple Finance has started into picture to support the 5 major operations of an organization like, financial planning and analysis, accounting, financial and close, TRM, treasury and risk financial management, financial risk management, finance operations, and enterprise risk and compliance management. So these are the 5 different areas where people tend to move themselves to provide a better fit for any organizations from a financially. So each of the box over here can be a module or a group of modules, but these are high level operations that generally they follow to support each of the functions which I have mentioned earlier. But anyhow, it is not relevant for us at this point of time. So the whole idea of bringing up S4 Finance is to do, or maybe an S4 Logistics is to do on-fly aggregations. This data will automatically, calculated on the fly and brings it to the query output. At the same time, intuitive user experience using Fiori. We will see that Fiori as well, how it looked like. And similarly, the flexible and non-disruptive cloud, cloud or on-premise environment, where we are talking about either to use on-premise or to cloud or a hybrid scenario based on the feasibility of customer and operations what they perform. It's very important to understand about S4HANA that S4HANA is available in 2 editions. Everybody knows that. One is an on-premise edition, another one is a cloud edition. The on-premise editions generally comes over an yearly cycle of innovation cycles. Every year it will get, innovations comes into the picture. In between, any support packs are there, it will be happen on it. So that's a different story. But in general, the innovations happens in every yearly. But when you're talking about a cloud edition, the cloud editions comes up on every quarterly. So it's a quarterly innovation cycles. So we need to really understand whether it's on-premise or a cloud. Do not get confused about versions and all, because it's very important to understand if it is an on-premise, compare it to the previous version and what is the latest version. Maybe there might be a service packs 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, based on the bugs, needs, the necessity, or maybe a new features into it. But innovation cycles ideally happens at a bigger way on on a yearly. For example, last year we got it in 15.11. We call it as in 2015 November release. Now the next release would be 16.10, which will be in October. So these are the things which are very prominent in nature. Okay, so majority of them we are talking about footprint. Footprint should be as minimum as possible. So S4 HANA currently 8.4 GB is what footprint reduction people are looking at it from 593 GB of traditional storage. So there are a lot of things which will be part of it going forward, but at this point of time, let's take it. It can reduce the data footprint, very good user experience. Working style will be changed based on the intuitive user experience as well as deployment options of S4 HANA. This ideology of the entire S4 HANA. Okay, so don't go by detail. During the course, we will learn what tables are really available and what tables are being obsolete or they have been tuned into a view. The whole idea is to minimize the database structure, whether it can be an indices table, whether it can be a transparent tables, whether it can be a the secondary database tables, whatever we call it as. So those informations are available in one single data model. So that data model consists of very minimalistic tables, like the MKPF, MSEC can be used in a very that will remain as it is with some other tables which are in place. So the whole idea is that to club multiple data tables logically into one new data model. So we will see that what tables are there, what tables are not there, how the data is getting stored in which tables, why the table structures are totally minimized. Is it really a right thing to club all the informations in one single table? That we will learn during the course of time. Okay. Now we will be talking about S4 HANA Enterprise Management. The S4 HANA Enterprise Management consists of many things. We will call it as, each of them are called as LOB, whatever you call it as. Now you will never call going forward no more as, okay, I am a PP consultant, I am a QM consultant, I am a materials management consultant. So we will be, people will be called as a MM consultant, as a sourcing and procurement consultant. An APO guy, a supply chain consultant, a manufacturing consultant, production guys, marketing consultant, sales consultant for ST, service for plant maintenance, asset management for plant maintenance, service is customer service. These things will come into the picture slowly. So we need to transform ourselves in projecting our name. So it's like more like giving an applications to the job profile rather than a module to a job profile. So that's the transition that we will take over a period of time. But the overall idea of HANA is enterprise management is to provide solutions for an enterprise across all the applications, including the HR, which is we call it as success factors, whatever we're calling it as. But if you see the overall the highlighted boxes on top, where these are the native applications like Ariba, Fieldglass, Concur will be integrated with source and procurement. Ariba and Concur will be integrated with finance. So these things, these are the things which are very, very important in general. to understand that what enterprise management is all about. And other important thing here is that which are available at this point of time, which are not available at this point of time is also very, very important. The whole suite of applications running on S/4HANA Enterprise Management, we call it as a digital core. Okay, I'm just moving ahead. So the source and procurement has its own capabilities and the benefits. The whole benefits is the data reduction. If you see the increased profitability derived from employee compliance and sustainable cost savings, reduced cost of ownership because data footprint is reduced. You need not to have different consultants to maintain the data because it's one place, it's single source of truth available. You can retrieve the data from there. Okay, so and at that on from the UI perspective, there are a lot of dashboards which comes into the picture. There are a lot of the tiles which are available for you to run the business in the form of a role based, not a transaction based. I just push to next thing. Now today, somebody was asking a question that what happens to our jobs? Okay, this is a better example of projecting that. So, suppose you are a consultant who is a sourcing and procurement consultant or MM consultant, whatever you call yourself as. Now these are the topics that you generally perform or configure to perform these activities. For example, invoice processing, how do you do it? Inventory management, how do you do it? Goods receipt and so forth and so on. So will this be there today? Will it vanish tomorrow? Is what everybody questions. No. You will still perform the same activities, but there is a change in this where you perform your activity, like where you run your transactions. You may not run a transaction on SAP GUI, but you may run a transaction in Fiori. Okay, but these things we need to understand whether each of the programs has been changed to perform better. It might have changed. So each things will have its own change. Okay, the Fiori has a change. For example, a purchase order processing, it has been pushed to Fiori. Okay, you may ask me a question, what happens if I don't want to use Fiori? Because some of the transactions you can still perform in SAP GUI, but some of them are made mandatory to use only Fiori. So in that sense, we need to understand how these things are really working from the back-end perspective. Okay. So again, I repeat, as a function consultant, as a business technician, process technician, whatever you call it as yourself, the activities, what you are performing, the processes, business processes will not change by S/4HANA. Okay, that the only thing is that the way you perform the activities in a faster way, things has been changed because of Fiori, because of enhanced features within the transaction. So that makes more difference than you minimizing the things. But definitely a configurations level, unnecessary configurations has been, configuration nodes has been clubbed into one logical configuration mode so that you can configure things in a better way. So that would be the whole idea going forward. Similarly, if you see a plan to product, these are the activities that you perform to perform a particular process. But again, it remains as it is as a process, but the way you are performing the activities of plan to product and so forth and so on will be changed. If it means that enhanced means the transaction has been enhanced to perform better. Fiori means the transaction can be performed in Fiori or must be performed in Fiori. That's again, it's a slowly fading of phase of SAP GUI. And no changes means this transaction runs as it is as an ECC. So this understanding you should take it from here. Okay. Now, I just open the forum for any questions. Only pertaining to the topics what discussed till now. Do not ask me anything which is. Please. Yeah. Anybody wants to ask any questions?
What exactly is an UI?
UI is Fiori, user interface.
maintenance management, you have UI.
Come again?
If you go to maintenance management, there you have a new UI, not Fury UI. What is new UI?
Okay. A new UI, it can be NWBC also. Okay. It can be a smart
What?
NWBC, NetWeaver Business Client, or it can be a a kind of smart cockpit which comes into the maintenance. Okay, they are integrating this with a lot of products, so the dimensions and all is getting changed because of new UI. It's a kind of a combination of Fiori and with some of the changes where it makes some sense. Go the parts to identify the parts in a very 3 or 4 dimensionals in specifically for maintenance. So that's the reason they are saying the new UI.
Hi Abhay, so you mentioned on HANA, we will be called with multiple modules like S4 HANA, supply chain, manufacturing, marketing, sales. So is that mean so sales and distribution will be subdivided into multiple modules, or it will be launching new modules?
No, it will be same module. Sales and distribution, we call it as sales. You cannot see it as a distribution module consultant and sales consultant. Both are one and two. For example, you take a consultant, inventory management, okay, and the procurement. So it's together.
Yeah.
The naming has changed, but not the roles of a consultant.
Okay. So what is that marketing then?
This is like a CRM marketing, the sales marketing. This is more like a marketing campaigns and all. Some of the parts which is part of CRM. This is not only an ECC, this can be a club of many other products also. Okay, we are talking about this, right? The sales and marketing, right? So this is like, club of CRM also together.
Okay. So with this S4 HANA, CRM, like the upstream module, so SD, they will be together, or is it just the way now it is?
It will be together. It will be goes in hand. The whole idea is to club the activities of performing whatever you are doing on SD along with CRM functions. Similarly, if you see the financial roadmap, there are a lot of modules put together under one business function. It can be a BPC, it can be a COPA, it can be something else. Similarly, from source and procurement to APO, where the data can be easily read by the APO systems. So that's where the change is all about. Okay. But it all depends upon what is available as of today. As of today means 1511 because it's a yearly innovation cycle. So, but slowly we'll move on to 1610. Lot of features may come in, but then there can be a lot of changes between 1511 to 1610, which is an advanced features.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody has any other questions? Yeah.
Hi, Abhay. This might be an inappropriate question since I have joined 15 minutes back. That's it. So can I ask this question?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Abhay, my simple question is, you are saying that R3 will be there, and as well as we are going to implement a Fury to work in SAP S4 HANA, right? So how it will get affected in future course of action for Indian business? Like Indians are most constrained about price, cost, whatever you say. So anyways, they are using R3. R3 is readily available. Why they need to choose S4 HANA?
Good.
You might be discussed about this thing.
Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come to that point in 5-6 slides. Okay.
Just to add to the same question, when there is so much innovation going on and every newer version has lot of enhancements in functionality when compared to the older version, what is the driving force for a client to pick up S4HANA now and implement it?
No, can you please ask me that question again, if you don't mind?
So you just said S4HANA 1610 could be a lot more different or might have a lot more functionality than 15, whatever version is going on now.
Mm-hmm.
If that's happening and if there is a lot of innovation and a lot of new functionality coming up with these new versions, what is the driving force for the customers and businesses to implement S4HANA now? Because they might have, everyone might be thinking, hey, why now? Wait 1 year, I get so much more functionality. I mean, this could be a sales question, but generally, if I go to a client's place and start saying, hey, S4HANA, this might be the question they might ask.
Okay. Let's give a small example to a basic a common human being, what people think. Let's assume that we have a laptop which is using for 2-3 years old now. Will you definitely look forward for buying a new laptop even though your old laptop is working, functioning good? Yes or no? Hello? Yeah, 1 second. Please, 1 second. Yeah. The reason why we are moving into the new laptop, even though our old functioning is very good, because the speed, the design, the flexibility, the latest things. So that is a common comparison for any product. But coming back to R3 to S4, yes, there is a lot of changes. What is the driving point to go there? Definitely, I'll explain you in another 15 minutes or 10 minutes time. Okay?
With your example itself, I can add this line. Like, if at all we have a laptop of 3 years old, definitely we will sell it and we will go for new laptop.
Okay.
So, I mean, here I need to use my old laptop and I need to purchase one more laptop.
No, that's a wrong assumption. That's a wrong assumption. You are upgrading your laptop to a kind of upgrading your RAM, upgrading the future of your outfit, putting a new sleeve and all that stuff. But the core hard drive, which has the content, will remain on it. Maybe you transform from yourself from a normal hard disk to a SSD. Okay, so this is the major difference. But the outfit of it is one. You will not carry 2 laptops to perform your activities. Okay, I think it's becoming more technical thing. I'll come back to that when we talk about things. Okay. Okay. Let's see.
Hi, Kumar here.
Yeah, Kumar.
Yeah, actually I wanted to know. I think we are doing some configurations in Scroll, right?
Okay.
Maybe in the UI, and that can be available in the Fiori app in the future. Maybe present version, I think we don't have the option to do that. So in the future it can be available?
Yes. Okay. It is available, Kumar. Okay, but when, I can't promise that, but the whole direction is that even it is available in theory also for the...
And in 1.5.1 we have any configurations right now in present version?
What do you mean by configuration?
I have seen this S4 system actually. So when I see the Fiori app, I think we have some financial related things right now.
Okay.
But I think for other modules like sourcing and supply.
No, that is a wrong. That is wrong notion because people have not configured that in the system. Okay. That's the thing. Anyhow, we'll just look at it. Yeah, I'm just pushing up. I just already kept you on mute, so I will again talk in another 10 minutes time. Now, similarly, the sales also it has its own benefits. When you're talking about pure sales, how it works, including certain things which is like a contract management, billing, invoicing, and so forth and so on. So these applications also has been enhanced to a greater extent, irrespective of what our modules you are doing it. And when we move on, this is all what we discuss in our session, that what are the basic changes that UI will come up to understand exactly how things are moving around, and then what needs to be done from a functional consultant perspective. There may be a lot of things which needs to be done by a technical Fiori experienced guy, but for the functional consultant, what are our roles and responsibilities in the project. Similarly, request to service, this is again service-based module. If you see, this is what you perform today from the service perspective, and tomorrow what happens is that there are no changes. It means that it runs as it is. It doesn't mean that it will not available in future, but at this point of time with 15.11 release, there are no changes in terms of service modules as such. Okay. Then the important topic is across topics. Like for example, somebody was asking me about how metal masters, how we are moving from 18 to 40. What would be the implications? So SAP is providing a flexibility to increase your metal masters numbers from 18 digits to 40 digits. Now it is your prerogative whether we need to go from 18 to 40 or not. But if you move from 18 to 40, you can't come back to 18. So that's a catch here. So think twice, thrice, maybe 10 times before you move to 40. But is there any programs to move from 18 to 40? Yes, you can. There are certain services available to move from 18 to 40 based upon your new structuring of your metal codifications. But it should be really practical whether if you are in case of moving from 18 to 40, because you cannot come back from 40 to 18 digit characteristics. At the same time, certain things like output management is one of the other example, that output management technology is totally changed. So the functionalities, which are older functionalities, have been deprecated because it is no more available in S/4HANA. So the cross logistics is very, very important to understand. People may know I'm MM consultant. My idea is to learn only MM or MM features, but what to use? But you need to understand the cross logistics, what is happening, because MM consultant is the important guy, the entire logistics process where he manages the data moving across the modules, isn't it? So this is very, very important to understand what are the cross topics, how it has been simplified, and where it is implicated to your career, to your job, how you are performing moving S/4HANA. It's as good as preparing new for you. How you learned SAP initial stages, it's again kind of the same thing that you have to do it again, but in a very sophisticated way, because now you know how the system performs. And when we are talking about the user experience as such, so today we were performing more functional based applications than where today in the sense in ECC, where we use the transactions to perform each of the objects. For example, I have to run the processes, each process in each transactions, juggle between the screens, juggle between the content. But going forward, Fiori is more like a role based. You go through one transaction or one role of yours, for example, a inventory management user. Then from there on, you can see what how the inventory look like, how much I need to put a requisition, and then how much I need to transfer. Whatever this you want to do it, you can do it from single screen. So that's where we are calling it as role-based transactions. Rather, in the older days, you need to come back to a couple of transactions, or to perform a couple of transactions to to complete a particular process. But here, from one screen, one role of yours, you can have all the transactions which are all pre-built. Okay, then the people will come back and ask one question: hey, what happens to the authorizations? Because I made a lot of effort in defining them in today's ECC system. Will it goes off? I need to do a real authorizations again, the entire authorizations? No, the old authorizations will work as it is. There is no change in authorizations as such for the processing of transactions. So we need to understand that. It's very, very important. But definitely it's always better when you're doing a testing about the Fiori, about the authorizations, if you are implementing a project. Yeah. Before we move on to this, I would like to open the forum for your questions so that we can come on to the exact the system conversion topics. Sorry, Uday, I think you have a lot of problem with system. I think last time also, so I just kept you on mute. Yeah, anybody has any questions before we move on to the transition topic? No questions, can I presume that?
Yeah,
Yeah, who is this?
sorry, yeah, maybe my question is not relevant to the 3 slides which we move on. So during the training, so you will be taking care of all the modules or only to the specific few modules? I mean, how the training is planned about?
Yeah, I will answer it because at the end of the session, that's what the direction is all about, because I have to give you a clear roadmap what I'm going to talk. But this demo, we are giving them, you know, some kind of informations on all the modules and, you know, how it's moving on. Because I want to give the knowledge to all of you to talk correctly in front of customer to everybody of your friends about the product, to clear your confusions ideally. Okay. Anybody has any other questions? Okay. I'm just muting all of you since you don't have any questions. No, this is very, very important, or this is the main thing which everybody's mind starts thinking. Okay. I am on ECC. Let's assume a very basic version of ECC, which is ECC 6, irrespective of service pack. Now, how do I transition myself into S/4HANA? Well, if it is a new implementation, there is no problem at all, because you just go ahead and then start implementing the S/4HANA and such as a, you know, as a net new customer, there is no problem at all. Start using as a new implementation what you do till date. But when you're talking about your old ERP system, you want to convert to S/4HANA, that's where the problem comes. First of all, once the migration is a path is ready, then how do I really evaluate it whether it is working correct or not? Do I need to run systems parallelly? The first question is that once the moment you migrate the system into the on-premise to on-premise S/4HANA, you would need not to run systems parallelly, because your system itself is upgrading from ECC 6 to S/4HANA system. Okay, it's a kind of a complete conversion of your existing database along with a lot of patches or, you know, adjustable content at behind to give better data models and so forth and so on. Okay, that's very important to understand. So system conversion, the moment you convert yourself from ECC to S/4HANA, you need not to run things parallel. You are just totally migrating your data onto the S/4HANA, irrespective of whatever database you have. You can have Oracle, you can have SQL, you can have MaxDB, whatever it is. You are just moving fully of all the data into the S/4HANA edition. So this is called a system conversion as such. At the same time, will it be so smooth? We can't guarantee you, because you may have troubles. Why you may have troubles? Because whatever the inconsistency that you have maintained in your traditional system, ECC system, when you are moving to S/4HANA, everything will pops up saying that if you know, something is misses out, then how do you rectify it? I'll tell you a couple of examples where I was doing conversion. Some problems came up where we are saying that there's some of the, when it is an old implementation, somebody has done some configuration directly in production and switching off the recording mode, that what has been recorded and all this stuff. Let's assume that they have created some material types, and these material types are not available in development, and quality is only available in production. The moment I do the migration of production systems, before that, the later point of time, they posted a couple of transactions and they come back again and deleted the material types. Configuration, it will allow you to delete it, but not the transaction data. The moment you start doing the migration, system will throw that this particular line item of transaction level does not have this material type. Sometimes it even doesn't give the information also. Error stops at particular thing and just gives the error message. So these kind of problems will come during a course of action of your migration. Or there is no migration as such in terms of like a financial migration where you have a cockpit. Here it is a kind of a DMO, but definitely these issues will pop up at a certain situations. But if your system is well and good and no problem with that, but well maintained in the ECC environment, you can easily move on to the S4HANA environment in a beautiful way. So there is no harm in going into S4HANA, because definitely you will have issues if there is a knowledge curve there where you have to upgrade yourself to S4HANA. But after moving to S4HANA, will I perform the activities which I was performing before as it is, or it will be shortened or it will be increased? The processes will remain as it is. The place where you perform transactions will change. As I told you, and as I've shown you in the screens, it may be in Fiori, it may be in it may be in the SAP GUI, it may be in NWBC. So you have to get trained on that before you perform any process. So that is a major thing in system conversion topics. Okay. And the third thing is that suppose you want to have a lot of ERP systems, isolated ERP systems, region A, region B, region C, or management 1, management 2, management 3. So you need to club all this into one single, instance. You can also still do it, like to consolidate the entire data into this one. Again, you will ask me, okay, will it be easy? Yeah, it will be easy unless until you have any specific things, like, which is not supported at this point of time. In the whole point, you need to check one important thing when you are transitioning from any phase to the S4HANA is, on a current release of S4HANA, what are the features and functionalities that are available in your old system? Is it supported in S4HANA before you start evaluating the project? It is not that in after project go live or mid of the project you realize, oh, this functionality is not supported by the S4HANA. Then you have wasted your resources, money, time, and effort, lot of things. So you need to look at for which release you are going and what are the release restrictions. If you fall under the release restrictions under that, then probably you need to see that whether it is supported or not. Then you have to push yourself to that particular modules. But these are all ifs and but cases, and then that a lot of things are be part of your project plan itself. So I'm not over guessing it. I'm just telling you these are the mistakes what people generally do in any implementation projects. But having said that, one bottom line or one thing which is a nutshell that you can move yourself from any ERP system to S4HANA after the complete conversion, you can start using the system of S4HANA. Only thing is that you need to understand where exactly you run these transactions as such, whether in GUI or in any other place. Can you just give me a second, please? Yeah, any questions? Because I know a lot of people will have questions here, so I'm unmuting all of you. You can ask your questions. It's very important to understand.
I have a question. I hear about Fiori so much. Do you suggest that we get ourselves well versed in Fiori first?
The Fiori is it's a pure technical thing. As a functional consultant, if you are any of the modules consultant, it's only important for you to understand how you can run your job on that, how to run a transaction on Fiori. Need not to worry about how it has been configured, and how you need to configure it, because it will not be your job as such from a functional consultant perspective. But if you have interest, nobody can stop you to learn that.
Hi, I'm Krishna Mohan. Are we going to have the same 3-tier landscape in HANA also, like development, quality, and production?
You're right. Hello.
Hi, Abhay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Arvind here.
Yeah, Arvind.
Yeah. Most of customers are interested in knowing what is the cost. Like you told me that we can use the existing database. If they are using Oracle, it's fine. DB2, it's fine. So they need to purchase something called appliance, what you call in-memory RAM. That is the only hardware cost. Is there any other license cost or any what other cost is involved?
Of course, as I told you, right, this is a new product. So new product license cost will be added.
Okay. So the older license per user license, that also will have to be continued, and this will be extra license cost?
No, I think it is, I have seen for 3-4 months of initially S4 HANA license was given for free. Okay. So it depends upon the bargaining capability of a customer and how big they are. And then they might get S4 HANA license for free. I'm not sure. So, but in general, it has its own licensing scheme.
Okay. So they have to pay the ECC license plus this S4 HANA license?
No, the moment you move on to the ERP system to S4 HANA, there ends a matter of your standard ERP service agreement. Okay, maybe that service agreement is still applicable on S4 HANA for the support.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about Fiori? Does it have licenses, or is it built in this S4 HANA license?
No, it will be a built-in thing, but a couple of things are there. Fiori has again 2 deployment models. Okay, one is the standalone deployment model, which has a different, functionality altogether, which is a already embedded Fiori model within the S4 HANA systems, which is freely available for you. You can go ahead and configure whatever you want to do. Okay.
Okay. Hi, Robert here.
Yeah.
My question is, what will be the impact on the custom programs and enhancements which are running on ECC?
Excellent. You are hit the things on the nail. Yeah. See, for example, you have customizations. There are a lot of customizations definitely at the interfaces. Example, I'll just answer it both together, interfaces and customizations. Customizations can be within the SAP where you have written a particular, your own new transaction, you have used your own new BAPIs or baddies, whatever you are talking about, your own user exits. So what happens is that before you planning to go on to S4 HANA, then S4 HANA, there is a code inspector. If you run that particular code, specific code inspector, it will run on your existing system and identify whether which of the custom codes can be moved, which of them cannot be moved. If it is green, it means that code will work as it is in S4 HANA. There is no corrections required. In case of something is happening in red, then what happens is that you need to identify why this is red and why it is not supported in S4 HANA. It's a kind of an exercise which you need to do it before moving yourself onto the S4 HANA. That's number one on the customizations. Interfaces, ideally, if you move on to the new software, it's a responsibility of SAP that see that whether it is interface or supported. And there will be no change, because if I go on to S4 HANA and my interface doesn't work, I'll have to stop my business, which is practically not possible. So that's the reason interfaces also will work as it is, because the interfacing front-ending for majority of the interfaces. For example, if you're talking about interfaces talking directly hitting towards MKPF and MSEC or maybe another thing, will still remain as it is. The reason they kept these two tables is for a purpose of interfaces only. So that we generally call it as prima nota tables or prime tables, which they call it as a technical term. So the interfaces and custom logic will work as it is, but if something doesn't work in terms of different programming or maybe a wrong programming, the system will warn you prior you go on to the S4 HANA systems to rectify that. Did I answer your question, ma'am?
Yeah. Just another question. We have different modules in ECC, right?
Yes.
And my understanding, the S4 HANA, as of now, not all the functions or processes are not available as of now. So, do you recommend migrating in parts?
No, there is. There are a lot of deployment options. For example, if I go to Simple Finance, will I get a Simple Logistics? Okay. Can I have an option of going to Simple Logistics without Simple Finance? Okay. Whether if I go to Simple Finance and can I use a classic logistics? These questions comes into picture. Some of them are available, some of them are not available. We need to follow the release restrictions. We need to follow the guidelines of the product as such.
Okay.
But I have a possible options.
One more.
The possible options of running Simple Finance without Simple Logistics. I can still run the business. Yeah, please.
Okay, just one more question. We have this. We have the traditional materials management, and then SAP came up with the SRM, right? how these two are placed in S4HANA?
Yeah, SRM is, I think it is not yet available in S4HANA because you are just maintaining the LOBs. I think they are integrated. Probably we are expecting 16th and that you will get all the information.
So it'll be all part of S4HANA.
Yeah,
as a single package.
Yeah, you're right. But that has a long roadmap. You know, it depends upon when it availability. I'm sure because I've not seen any roadmap or release dates of these solutions. But if you want to run the supply chain on HANA systems, that is available on the suite on HANA itself. But in S4 HANA, when it will be clubbed all together into one single instance as a digital core, I don't have exact dates when it happens.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody has any other questions?
Why? What are the modules that are available right now to the customers in terms of S4 HANA?
All modules are available, whatever you are using in ECC. You mean to say the latest S4 HANA sales? That's what you're talking about?
That is right, yes.
Yeah, all of them are available. I mean, I've seen that, right? I've shown you, right? Plan to produce, order to cash, that involves the modules as such.
So OTC is available
in
S4 to the customers right now for us.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
I have a question. Help me understand this. If we are taking simple logistics, do we need to get training in HANA?
Not required.
Say that again, please.
Not required.
Not required. Okay, so all the other like Fiori and you don't need to have training in those things, right?
Not required. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me answer this question and then probably I'll come back. I'll take your question. Yeah. I understand. I mean, give me a few minutes. I'll come back to your question. See, for example, HANA is a database that needs a different skill set of database knowledge. So, as a functional consultant, you need not to know about how to build, any kind of things in a HANA. Okay, it's good to know, but it is not mandatory. Similarly, Fiori, somebody else will configure for you. Good to know that if you want to configure your own Fiori things, but need not to. You are never been asked to do it. If somebody asks you, say that this is more technology based. It's not a function based. Okay. So do not unnecessarily waste your money on whatever is available. Knowing HANA doesn't help you at all. Knowing Fiori fully at the back end what it's happening, it doesn't help you at all. So be sure that how you can really play with this. Yeah, somebody was asking a question.
This is Arvind here.
Yeah.
Will you be talking in the future slides about how data is going to be transferred from the old system to the S4 HANA system?
Not in the demo.
Or is this the slide?
Okay.
No, how does the data get transferred? For example, you said material master will have additional fields or maybe 40 characters. So we need to transfer the old data into the new format and upload it again?
No.
So it is like a new...
There will not be any rework if I'm going. I need to have more, upgrading my skills in S4 HANA rather than a rework of, taking out material numbers and uploading. It is not the case. Okay, that we will discuss in detail during our how to migrate sessions in the classes.
Hi, Abhay, I'm Krishna Mohan. Actually, I'm an SD consultant, and as we can see the simple logistics, we have got middle management, PP, PM, etc. So, would it be easier for an SD consultant to understand it, or do we need to learn the other modules also and then integrate with this? I mean, learn S4HANA.
So, see, you will still remain as SD consultant, but your name will be changed as, sales guys, for example. But it is, if you are interested, then definitely you can learn, but it is not mandatory that everybody should know everything. Okay, if SD consultant, you still follow the same old rules of on your work status. For example, you are whatever you are doing, configurations and all this stuff, the same thing. For you, you need not to learn anything which is apart from your other modules. Did I answer your question, man, or?
Okay, Abhay, yeah, I got it.
Hello, Abhay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, Bharat, please.
Yeah, Abhay, my question is in the beginning of training, you told few tables, take example of material master tables like Mara, MAP, this and historical table. They will be like deleted or it will be still there in S4HANA.
See, the
conversion of tables.
Okay, some of the tables are obsolete. Some of the tables are still available in the form of views. Okay.
Okay.
If,
so if that is the case, suppose if some table is deleted, okay, in S4HANA, and my question is if some interface is there, and that interface is based on that table, which in the S4HANA that table is not available. So I believe that interface won't work, and all the G reports which from where we are fetching the data. So it will be rework for the project, right?
Okay, that is we are evaluating which interfaces are there, what custom codes are there, very early stage of the project to identify what needs to be done. If any of the tables which has been removed as such from in the S4 HANA, then system will definitely show you this table has been removed, this code I need to be rewrite. That will done at a very prior stage of the project. Okay, but technically the tables have been structured in a way, or a views has been structured in a way where majority of the interfaces, I would say 90%, 95% or 90% of interfaces or custom code will work as it is after your migration, because SAP cannot take the table just like that. Okay. So that to increase the time. Let's assume that for a migration or a conversion, we will say for S4HANA conversion, we need 1 year of time. Will the customer will go for that? No, right? Simple. So that's the reason majority of the tables, even though it is technically not as a transparent table, but it might be available as a kind of a view or something like that. So that still the data will be looped and routed through those views and all the stuff through the processing tables. There will be no lag in between. If any lag is there, then system will automatically project to stating that these are the custom code stoppages. You need to rectify these stoppages prior going to S4 HANA system.
I believe S4HANA is for if you're going for the fresh implementation.
It's a wrong notion. I think that's where it's a 200% wrong notion. It's not like that. Nobody will invest money to re-implement a project unless until their old projects are not implemented in a proper way.
Actually, my question is because when we are doing any interfaces, okay, we are using the existing tables plus probably we are creating the G tables, right?
Nobody, that's what I said, right? Even if a Z tables, everything will be taken care. Okay. It will not, if a Z table is created in S4 HANA, this table will not vanish. It will be still available. Okay, but the way how logic has to be treated will be evaluated during the custom code evaluation.
Okay. Thank you, Avi.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take another 10 to 12 minutes to complete these sessions. See, SAP Activate is a new methodology which is available for you to implement on S4HANA. For example, how ASAP methodology is there, how Agile methodology, SAP Activate is another SAP methodology to deploy the the S4HANA to a customers for a net new customers. At the same time, system conversions also, you can also follow this rule, but you need to do a step-by-step approach to perform that. So any versions can also be followed. ASAP Activate is a predefined activated tool, which is a kind of a methodology, which is a kind of a guided configuration. You need to perform this, then you are done with that. So this is a new thing which will come into picture on the S4HANA. But nevertheless, without SAP Activate also, you can perform the the migrations or whatever it is. Okay. The whole idea of SAP Activate is to simplify your time of implementation. And it also has a lot of best practices for each of your integrations, where you say on-premise editions or a cloud enterprise editions. These solutions or product lines are available for you to execute or to fasten up your implementation. If you are a fresh implementations, if you are doing, then probably you can use these packages, or I would say best practices, to initiate your project as fast as possible. But if any custom developers you want to do, definitely it will take the same old time. Okay. Now I'll put 5 basic principles before we open the session for administrative questions. The first basic principle for you is to understand which version of S/4HANA you are going. On that S/4HANA, you have to read the release restrictions, the release notes, availability, things, very, very important. Second, understand the S/4HANA for which product lines that are available. For example, is it available for oil and gas industry? Is it available for ice mills? Something like that, you need to analyze it. And the third point is that need not to worry about whether I know a HANA or I don't know cloud or whatever it is, so do not bother about it. But learn one thing, what I was performing today and where I should perform this in S/4HANA is what the knowledge you should have. It can be Fiori, it can be NWBC, it can be some other UI that will be there, that will be provided during the sections, or maybe more information in your what are the materials that are available to you. Fourth thing, do not confuse between the available products, whether it is, for example, is it S/4HANA new product line, or old product, is a migrated product, is it available, and all this stuff is very, very important for you to understand what exactly the product means. Never bother about licensing, because it's not, if somebody is, unless until you are a sales guy, the licensing part doesn't make any sense for you. And the last and the thing is that do not commit a customer everything is pre-assuming it is available, it is not available. Read through enough material, read through enough resources, whatever you have, to confirm whether it is available or not. Because some things may be available now today, but tomorrow it may not be available because of totally future changes. And never guide a customer saying that okay, you go ahead, after 2 years you will get a pretty good version. So it's a kind of a transition phase. SAP is coming up with the solutions in a very transformed manner, where you can transform yourself over batches, but you'll reach the goal faster than going at the end at a big bang, which may tend to have a lot of issues going forward. So start as early as possible. Maybe it depends on customer. As a consultant, you cannot do anything, but unless until you recommend them in the right approach. But right approach is very important for a customer, how you transform yourself into the S/4HANA from your legacy systems. So these are 5 important topics for you as a consultant you should carry to any place or anywhere you are at a project locations or wherever it is.